It's all about balance. Welcome everybody back to Just Plain Crazy. I'm Brennan. Thanks for joining me again for another episode down in the lair, guys. And on the bench right here is the XICOY CG jig. Now this is from XICOY. Link will be down in the description below. Hop on over there, check them out. They have cool stuff like this and airplane stands, all kinds of neat stuff that may appeal to you. So this thing is super awesome. Let's get right into it and we'll explain to you why it's so important. All right, everybody, on the table now in front of me from XICOY. This is the XICOY CG Machine jig. All right, often we use the XICOY CG Machine to balance our planes, pits, stuff like this, bigger things, right? Stuff that we just can't put. I use these little felt things on the bottom of the wing, and I always have a permanent marker if I change batteries. I know exactly where the CG is to be able to feel that. So that doesn't work well when you have bigger models that you have to pick up. So XICOY has made and produced this jig made to work with the XICOY CG machine. Now, proper pronunciation is it's actually XICOY. And we give credit to Jonathan over at the lighter side of RC that actually met with Gaspar and got the proper pronunciation. So although XICOY is the right name, you'll very often hear me say XICOY because that's what I'm used to. I don't know, preference, I guess, but for respect, it's XICOY. Anyway, we got such a cool item here. If you've seen in a lot of my other videos, I'll lay out a piece of tape across the bench, use a laser, tape measure, all those kind of things. XICOY has come up with something in a nice carry case here to put this in, so that way you could take it, disassemble it in and out of this thing. But this way we can get good, accurate balance using this with some laser and spot-on measuring systems. So let's get this bad boy together and let's show you how to use it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this thing assembled. So first things first, you want to get your digital displays installed and placed on there. So these things will always stay like this. They really never shut off. All right, they do have a backlight display to them, but ultimately just screw those face plates on the piece for the tail and then the one for the laser, right? So we start there. The next thing we're going to do is you're going to identify your front piece. So this thing is going to go right there. And now we are going to get the next piece that should have this thing installed, right? You see the little T right there, and that will slide into that end. So we're going to take this thing and slide that right through. And we want to put it roughly in center. Don't have to be perfect, but we bring that thing right into there. And then these, you do not have to kill the set screws. Don't over tighten them, just make them snug. We just want this thing to firmly stay in place, but not fall apart. Okay, next thing, get your mains. They say mains on here, main gantry, right? So we're going to take one and slide that over there. And we have our second one. We'll slide it on the other side. There's that one. Now, if you need to, one of the nice features, little rubber feet in the bottom, you can position those wherever you want, depending on the width of your bench or something like that, okay? So now we are going to go ahead and take our tail assembly. So that's the one without the laser thing on it. And you can go ahead and slide this piece on like that. And you can actually slide that all the way up to the front. We can take our laser and you can screw that onto here. And you'll see where there's an appropriate spot for that thing to fall into place there. So you can tighten it down a little bit more, drop it on. And then this thing is going to wind up sliding over this piece. These little caps come out. And you could slide that over there, and then you could place the cap back in. So this thing, all right, now will slide. That thing is adjustable, so if you want to, you could squeeze it so it don't move. But this thing, make sure that you guys can step you back here so you can see it. This piece here is going to slide over that main gantry, like so. There. And again, fully adjustable with these stops, so if you need more or less, you can go ahead and adjust those out. So right now we have a lot in the front. Let me get the right size one of these. The kit does include a nice little Allen wrench assortment. And again, not a lot of tension is needed here. So you can slide those things out however you want them. We could slide this bar in a good bit right there. Bring this stop in. That stop. You can just snug them up. Okay. Now we have our laser ready to go for measurements. And now here at the tail, okay, if you read the instructions, they actually want you to start back here first. This has a tail extension, so if you're doing a tricycle style landing gear, that's where your mains are going to fall, and then this thing is going to ride out there. So that's all you're going to need. If you're doing something like the pits, then we are definitely going to need this piece. That will get attached to the end, and we are going to use our adapters and a piece of cut PVC that you have to use. You just cut because the tail draggers have to be level. So you put a piece of PVC in there and then your pucks. So basically what will happen, I'll pop you off with this. If you're going to use both of these tail pieces, again, adjust the rubbers all the way out to the end for support. But you're going to place that just like that, loosen up those 4 screws, slide that over into place, and then on the bottom there's another one, and you should have one in that channel, one in the opposite channel. Otherwise, for now, you can just leave them set just like that. All right, so here is our XICOY CG machine. This does not come with the unit. You got to supply your own. So let's make sure that we have the right ones going in the right spot. So this is my right side puck. This is my left, and then this one would be my nose or tail. So check out how this is going to work. So whether you're doing a tail dragger or a typical tricycle landing gear, this setup will work just fine for you. And again, we have the tail extension if needed. So on this front gantry, these will slide back and forth real easy. So being that we're going to be doing a tricycle gear in this case, this is where my mains are going to go and my nose will go up there. So we have our CG machine plugged and wired in appropriately. We have the Marchetti selected. So these pucks will just sit on there. I'll let this one out of the way for a minute. We are going to bring this front one forward like that, and you will see that we are going to zero out at 51 millimeters right there, and then we will bring that thing front to where the nose wheel will sit. So here, watch how this works. So again, right back at 51, right? Nice and accurate. And as we slide this thing along, this is making my measurement. So it's taking this into account from the nose wheel to center of puck there. And then that's the number that's displayed, because in the XICOY you got to put that in. So measurement from mains to nose has to be there, and it has to be accurate. So we're going to take this puck. That thing will go right there. This thing will go over here. We can adjust these side to side as needed. And then we are going to bring in our laser. And this thing comes with what's really nice, an extra battery cable. All right. We're going to turn this thing on there. And we can slide it until, let's get our vertical axis turned on here. So there you can see how we have that laser, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to zero that. So from here, if we want to make a measurement now, we're just going to slide it forward until that thing now reaches where's going to be our CG mark on the wing. And then from the main to the CG spot, your 292 or whatever your measurement is going to be. But again, you would input that information into the CG machine. So super, super accurate information for both measurements there and there. And then when you wanted to, the next and the last measurement is going to be the distance from the mains to the balance point. So you would just bring that thing in there. So you slide this laser down the gantry. Again, it's going to track those in millimeters for you, so you have very accurate data to put in. Now, when we talk about if this thing is going to be a tail dragger, the plane must be level when you do this. So what they've done here is they've given you some adapters. You would take a piece of PVC pipe, cut it to the length you need, and you would go ahead and place that thing in there, and then your puck would sit right up there at the top. So again, I love the idea here. And again, if you have something like the pits, we can go ahead and use this extended length crossbar. Now, one of the other really cool features here are all of these little rubber feet. They are adjustable. So if you want something out here, or you want them more out there, more up there, you can go ahead and loosen those. And they give you a neat little set of Allen wrenches that are also included in this kit. So some of the things that we really love about this kit, right? We have the very high quality, really nicely colored gantries right there. So we have these super smooth rolling pucks. We have the accurate digital displays. We have this really nice accurate laser right there, and you can turn this in a couple different axes and then select whether you want a vertical or horizontal. So there's some options there to play around with. But everything on here is super smooth, super accurate. I absolutely think this thing is a home run. All right, let's talk about some measurements. So the first one is going to be our nose measurement. So we took this slider, if I slide that off of there, all the way from up front. We zeroed that out with the C, and you slide that thing all the way this way. Let's lift it back up. Drop that thing back in there. And we know from the mains to the nose exactly 390 millimeters, so super accurate. Now we have our laser on. Now they may also want to know the distance from the mains to our CG spot, which again, we use the little foam tabs right there, right? The little fuzzies. From the leading edge back, the manufacturer gives you that recommendation, but they want to know from the mains to there. And we're dealing right now with 64 millimeters. So super accurate, and I got them really, really fast. Now, the other thing they may want to know is from here to the balance point, which we know our battery is in there. That measurement isn't super critical, because you can actually just look here at the nose weight and slide that thing back and forth. So it's irrelevant, that number, for the most part. So let's talk about the advantage of balancing this way. And again, everybody in the world has a preference, right? I am one that's used, and let me see if I can get you down in there. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, see them little foamy dots right there? I use those on all my projects in case I change a battery or want to change something at the field. I have a feel, right, for that. So that's typically what I use. And again, close enough, you can dial it in, works just fine. But as we get into bigger models like the pits over there, we want to make sure that things are very accurately balanced before we take them up and feel things out. So with that being said, we've moved into the XICOY CG machine, and that will give us a lot of information about the plane. So not only will it give us overall weight, it can give you, I will bail out of this menu right here, and I'm going to hang over it so hopefully you guys can see it. Let's go into weight right there. And the Marchetti without a battery in it is 8 pounds. All right. And we can also look to see where the weight distribution is on each side. So also super helpful. Now, when we go into the CG, they'll tell us that right now this thing is tail heavy by the pound. So all of the numbers, you have to input this data into here in these measurements. So if we look at select model, this Marchetti distance from the front to the mains, you had to measure all of that. And I used tape and this, and it's worked okay. But this, digital readouts, laser pinpoint accuracy, guys, it doesn't get any more accurate than that. So maybe you're what we call, you know, a pack swapper. We go from 5300s. You guys know I'm a big fan of the SMCs. So I have a mark, if you can see that right there on the inside, and that's what I'm using. So if I put that battery in there and we come back in here and we look at this, so let's go to select. All right, I can actually look at this thing right now to the manufacturer's recommendations, just a little tail heavy. So we can just slide that pack front a little bit and we can perfectly dial that in. So if you look, that thing is just a hair of in front of the mark, about a finger's width from what I measured with the felt. So a little bit more accurate with this to begin with, because if you want to change it, you really want to know what you're changing from too. So here is a 6200. So if I want more flight time, I'm a pack swapper. I want this plane to fly the same, whether it's with this pack or the other one. So balance is very important. As we put that pack in there, we want to make sure that we're putting it in a spot where we're going to achieve the exact same results. And that, my friends, is what you're going to get here. So you want to play around with packs, numbers, make sure that the plane flies and feels the same. The CG machine, the XICOY CG machine or CG jig will get you there. And there you have it, guys. That is the XICOY CG jig from XICOY link down in the description below. If you're interested in this CG jig or possibly an airplane stand, something cool like that, do me a favor, hop on over there and check them out. Otherwise, I'm Brendan. This is Just Plain Crazy. You guys are just plain crazy for always hanging out watching. I appreciate every one of you. I hope you see the value in this and accurately setting up your planes. Again, we try and do things so these things are around a long time. They're a big purchase for us, so we got to take care of them and make sure that we set them up to fly right the first time. So with that being said, all you guys hop on over to the official Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok Just Plain Crazy pages. Like, share, subscribe, all that cool shameless plug stuff. Make sure on this video you give me one of those. If you're going to hit one of those, do me a favor, give me 2 of them instead. All right, so I appreciate every one of you guys. It's doing this channel is absolutely awesome. Being able to do reviews on products like this for you guys and bring them to market is absolutely phenomenal as well. So for you guys, I'm out of here. I wish you happy flights. Peace out.